All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. So today we should have relatively short-ish notes. There will be a Google form that you guys need to complete, as well as some questions out of the question packet. Tomorrow, I promise, will be even shorter. So going forward, we're going to start section 2 today of chapter 17. So, social life and lifestyles in the 1950s will make conformity important to most people. So, during this time period in the 1950s, we're going to see everybody trying to become the normal, kind of accepted thing in society at this point in time. And during the 1950s, Americans will seek both security and comfort, as well as promote conformity rather than individualism, in an effort to provide a better future for their children. So these people are going to be coming back from war, getting back into regular civilian jobs, and so they're going to be looking for both security and comfort, as well as promote conformity and try to provide a better future for their children. So first we have the silent generation, which will be the youth of the 1950s, and they'll have very little interest in world problems or crises. So these would be people that were born during the 1930s and early 1940s, before the baby boom generation really started. So these are the kids that grew up during the Great Depression and during World War II, and will be able to remember a little bit of both. So they're going to be they're going to have very little interest in what's going on in the world and the different crises that we will be talking about coming up and have already talked about. And so the prosperous times will allow young people to stay in school and enjoy their leisure time. So before, kids would oftentimes have to quit school and go to work to help out their family. Now, children don't have to do that because people are making more money than ever before, and they're able to stay in school and graduate high school on a more regular basis. And US businesses are also going to market products for this age group and contribute to stereotypes and increase pressure to conform to these stereotypes being produced. So, a lot of these people in these 1950s, if you think of Grease, it'd be your greasers and girls wearing poodle skirts, things like that. Those would be your stereotypical kind of kids and the kind of things they're trying to get kids to conform to in society at that time. And there will also be a renewed interest in religion that will come about as the Cold War publicized our crusade against godless communism and the threat of nuclear war. And so you're going to see religion start to make a comeback. And you could argue that it never left, but remember with the traditionalist society we talked about in the early 1900s, that's going to go by the wayside for newer, more modern themes, and we're going to see a real renewal in religion. At this point in time, you're going to start seeing, well, we'll get to that part in a second. So, communism, for the most part, atheistic. They don't practice religion in the communist countries. Therefore, by practicing any religion, we're almost better than they are, just like that. That's what's being promoted. And we're going to see new slogans appear for the first time ever. Under God we or sorry, in God we trust will first appear on our money starting in the 1950s. And that will be in 1954. We'll put under God or in God we trust on our money. And then again, we put under God in the Pledge of Allegiance in 1954 as well. And so these concepts were never around, whether it was honor money or in the Pledge of Allegiance, until the mid 1950s, when we will add it there in order to bring strength to our country, more or less. Also, there was a saying that was the family that prays together stays together, as well as dial of prayer services. So if you needed a prayer said or needed somebody prayed for, you could call dial a prayer and, well, they would pray for you. Also, with this new media going about, we talked about it. We talked about television being introduced, how the average family watches 4 to 5 hours of TV per night. And so people will start to take advantage of that medium and use that to promote religion as well. So, via the media, evangelists like Billy Graham will carry their prayers and messages to more people than ever before. So, here's a picture of Billy Graham speaking in public. However, he would use his speaking abilities to broadcast religion on TV. And so this was a new way of reaching out to people because no longer do they have to read it or listen to it on the radio. But for the first time ever, they're able to actually see him talk and bring a little bit of a closer connection. And also by the end of the 1950s, 95% of all Americans felt linked to some formal religious group. That is a huge, huge percentage. And so also, we talk about the silent generation coming about, the kids and the youth and conformity at the time. We just talked about our religion and how religion is being added more into society than it ever was before. But also, the roles of men and women in society will be clearly defined in the post war years. Men, your job are to go to school and find jobs to support your family, where you make all major economic, political, and social decisions for your family. And your success will be judged by what you can buy. We're back to that 1920s attitude of you are judged based on what you can buy and what you can provide for your family and how nice your house is. Women, on the other hand, are back to the stereotype where you're expected to stay at home, support your husband, keep house, cook meals, and raise stable, well adjusted children. So after World War II, we're trying to promote that stereotype again that men, your job is to be out and working. Women, your job is to stay at home, take care of the house, and take care of the kids. We're going back to that stereotype, and we will see this stereotype start to change a lot more during the 1950s than ever before as far as women's roles in society. Women are really going to break this stereotypical norm and really venture out, as you will see. Many women were caught between the desire to conform and also the desire to break free. So women are going to be in a kind of a tough spot here. There's going to be numerous influences try to push them one way or another. And remember, women liked having money and being financially independent, and so a lot of them will still keep part time jobs. So you have influences like Betty Friedan, who challenged the 1950s ideal woman by saying that many women wanted more out of life. And in her novel, The Feminine Mystique, Friedan encouraged women to pursue interests outside the home. So Friedan basically tried to convince women that your only role in society is not to take care of the house. You can have multiple interests outside the home that are going to get you out and around with more people and also having hobbies and things you like to do that necessarily isn't part of your family. But you also have Dr. Benjamin Spock, who wrote the Common Sense book of baby and child care and advised women to stay at home and raise stable and well adjusted children. So, Ben Spock, his main emphasis on this will be a woman's role in society is that traditional role where, well, your job is to stay at home and take care of the kids. Your job is not to go out and have interests outside the home. So Spock and Friedan are going to have very um, different points of view, I guess you could say. And so these are going to be two big outside influences on women. One saying, go outside, branch out outside your home, have fun. The other one is saying, no, your job is to stay to that or stereotypical role of a woman in society and stay at home and raise kids. And so the number of married women entering the workforce will continue to still rise after World War II. So more married women will continue to get jobs after World War II. And women also work to purchase the extras needed to enjoy life. So women, yeah, they would contribute some of this money to the household, but for the most part, they're going to be able to purchase the extras and nicer and better things, more modern technology to make everybody's lives easier. And so that's kind of what women's money would work toward at this point in time. So, um, we're going to stop here today. We'll pick up with more of the teenage attitude of the 1950s, which I think you guys might enjoy a little bit more tomorrow. Um, and so your homework is to make sure you complete those questions. Please do that on the Google form. I will be starting to post those in Skyward now that the new marking period has started. So I'm going to go back to all the assignments we did previously, and I will start updating the grade book. So please check your Skyward, and that will show you whether or not you did actually do your homework um, and how well you did on it. And so as far as questions go, you guys need to do questions 18 through 22 for homework as well. And so, like I said, tomorrow it's going to be relatively very little homework and super short notes. So, till tomorrow, I'll catch you guys later. Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, or if some link's not working, please let me know.